Okay guys, today we are making what I call classic Philadelphia cheesesteak. As you probably know, there is no other sandwich on the planet that is more controversial than a Philadelphia cheesesteak. Some say it has to be the Velveeta right off the grill. Some say I have had a cheesesteak with provolone and peppers on it. Here's my classic Philadelphia cheesesteak recipe. I'm gonna tell you where I got it from. I got this from my parents-in-law who lived in the Philadelphia area in the 1950s, and I talked to them at great length about this. I said, what was a cheesesteak back then? And here's what they told me. This is a very simple sandwich, guys. It was basically shredded beef, onions, and white American cheese. So those on a bun, of course. Those are the elements we're gonna bring into it. The only thing I'm gonna add to this is I do add just a dash of seasoned salt, okay? So you can comment below, what is your Philadelphia cheesesteak? What was your Philadelphia cheesesteak experience? And we'll get some comments going about that. For this recipe, we obviously need, as I mentioned, the shredded steak, shredded beef. We're gonna add those onions, and we're using the white American cheese. And again, that's gonna be a controversial part of it. I know those of you that are in Philadelphia on the streets, and some of the most famous cheesesteak makers are throwing a little chunk of Velveeta on there. Like I said, I've had provolone as well. We've got rolls to go with that. It's a very simple sandwich. A little bit of seasoned salt as well. With it, we're going to throw, underneath the grill, we're going to do a little technique and just throw some corn on the cob. It's springtime. We want to have that corn on the cob. It's come out, hopefully tastes pretty good right now. We're going to throw that right in the coals and let those cook up there. And this time on Total Tailgating, and it's probably the first time, we're going to make a dessert. We are making a pie with a graham cracker crust and dulce de leche apple pie with a little cinnamon on top. I think it's going to be really good, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and start working on our cheesesteaks. All right, guys, we are ready to put together our classic Philadelphia cheesesteak. Let's go ahead and get this stuff on the grill. What I've got here is shredded beef. I actually just went to the grocery store. You can actually buy this right in the grocery store now, which is really quite nice. This is 14 ounces, just about a pound, almost a half pound each. You know us, we like to make big sandwiches. That goes right on the grill. All right, along with, and I really shouldn't have used my hands for that, but you know what? We're Creekside. It's Creekside Studio B today. Let's get some onions on there. Enough for 2 sandwiches. You can put as many onions as you like. I like a lot of onions. We're gonna do that. And then you know me, I like to use my little 2 spatula. Now I know if you're in Philadelphia, they're using at least one of these, I would think. Probably 2 long ones. I like the long and the short. I just think it works better. And this is how we slice these up. I'm gonna break it up just a little bit, and what I'm really looking to do is just kind of pull this apart. Look at how tender that's gonna be. I don't want to overcook it, and add just a touch of seasoned salt for ours. Again, this is the one thing I'm expecting they had nicely seasoned grills. I have a seasoned grill as well, but I'm going to add a little bit of seasoning salt to that, and basically we're just going to let that sit for just a minute and start to cook through. While we do that, we're going to take a couple ears of our corn on the cob. We want to throw that. I'm going to throw it right in the coals underneath. And we're not going to worry about them. I love making corn on the cob this way because the husk will actually protect it. It'll steam that corn inside. What we did do before we ran the show is we pulled the silk off and then just folded the husk back together, okay? All right, we are ready with that. Let's mix this up. We don't want it to get overcooked. I don't like my steak to be too overcooked. And all, again, I'm doing is just sliding my long spatula off the short one, and just pulling it apart a little bit, and this will get done because it's shredded up really fast. We want our onions grilled up. I'm gonna cut those up just a little bit as well. I may have put a few too many on for this grill, but we will see.
This is a great little trick. If you can practice playing with those spatulas, you can impress your friends at your next tailgate party.
Yeah, when I learned how to do this, part of the reason we did it was for the show value of it. And you know, you got to where you were tossing your spatulas. You've seen me do it. Making a lot of noise and all that kind of stuff always seems like a good thing, right? All right, now we are just about ready. These onions are kind of grilled up. I don't want them cooked too much. I just want them grilled up, charred a little bit, and I don't want to lose any more than I have to. And I need to divide this up into about 2 sandwiches of equal size. I don't know, JR, should they be equal or?
Well,
sometimes.
If they're not equal, I'm taking the bigger one.
All right, okay. Sounds good. I can't blame you for that. And you can see still a little red meat in there, which I actually like. I like it. And these are big sandwiches. They're actually not the easiest to get on the bun. And that's one of the tricks, I think, to the Philadelphia cheesesteak, is these guys can handle this sandwich, and they don't need anything except just their bun and one of these little guys, and one of these spatulas, and they can scoop it up and get it on. We're gonna do that in a minute. All right, so now we need to put our cheese on. We've got these sort of portioned out. You can see I did leave a little bit of rare in there. That's on purpose. Cheese on, 2 sandwiches worth. We're gonna let that melt right down into the cheese. It's gonna be delicious. Let me get rid of that. And I'm going to give our corn a little bit of a turn under there. Make sure that's grilling up. Oh, that's charring nicely. Look at that. That's what we're looking for. We've got some more coals over here. I may move them over a little bit. Those are going good. All right, we're ready to offload these, and we're actually gonna make our dessert while we do that, okay? All right, now this is how you do it. And again, I'm not absolutely the best at this, but all you have to do is basically grab your bun and scoop it up on. Being quick is probably the most important thing. And there you go, you got a cheesesteak. An ooey gooey cheesesteak, and I'm gonna turn it toward the camera here. 1 cheesesteak. 2. Look at that. Now that is fantastic. I want to get that in there, but that is fantastic. All right, let me scrape off my grill. We don't want to let any of this go to waste. Just going to get a little bit of that crispy goodness in there. We'll make sure that gets eaten as well. Really should go on this one, I think. Just like that, guys. All right, now we are ready to go ahead and assemble our dulce de leche apple pie. I've never done this before, all right? But if you're interested, check out our Patreon video on how to make dulce de leche. It's absolutely easy. It's absolutely delicious. This is basically South American caramel, I would describe it as, and that's probably a pretty accurate description. You've probably seen it in your grocery store. You don't need to buy it, guys. You can make it. It's so easy to make, all right? So what I want to do, grab my spoon, and I just want to take, there's one of these that turned out a little thicker than the other, and this one is nice and thick. Take a look at that. Is that not beautiful, guys? All right, and I'm gonna layer the bottom of this pie crust. This is just a graham cracker crust, so no cooking necessary, nothing like that. Just very simple.
It's almost like caramel pudding.
Yep, it's like a caramel pudding. That's a good way to put it, and it's absolutely amazing stuff. And if you watch our Patreon video, it's unbelievably easy to make. You pretty much don't have to do any actual work to make dulce de leche. Just takes time. All right, I'm gonna layer that in, and I'm figuring 1 can will probably coat the bottom pretty well. Again, we're doing this Creekside. This doesn't have to be perfect. We're not looking for something that looks absolutely dressed up, absolutely marvelous. It just has to taste good. That's the most important thing. All right, a little bit more of that. And remember, our cheesesteaks right now are continuing to cook. So they are still cooking, they are resting while we get this ready to go. And I am gonna try to warm this up a little bit. Now we're gonna take our other can. You can see this one is a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter.
You're doing dulce de leche,
and then apple.
Alternate apple.
Yep, and then apple.
Okay.
But the dulce de leche, as you can see, is a little bit lighter. These were both made exactly the same bath at exactly the same temperature for exactly the same amount of time. They just came out different. That's one of the things with dulce de leche. It's a little bit, at least for me, I'm a little bit imperfect on how it comes out. It can be different each time. And I just had a pop top of apple pie filling that I'm adding to this, and obviously you can make better stuff than this. Grandma, I'm sure, would not approve, but we're, again, Creekside. We want to be able to get this done relatively fast and easy, and I'm gonna just spread that around.
Guys, while he's working on this, I just want to remind you, if you are like what we're doing and you wouldn't mind being one of our patrons, if you would jump onto our Patreon account at patreon.com/NTP. Even if all you can afford is $1 a month, that would help us continue making these shows. We have ingredients to buy, we have camera equipment to replace when it goes bad, and we would really appreciate that. If you can't, no big deal, we understand, but if you would jump down in the comments below and just give a shout out of thanks to the patrons that we have on this show, and thank them for being willing to help keep this show going.
Yeah, it's really important. It's kind of interesting that, you know, a show like this actually costs a lot of money. We actually ran a test run through of this show, so you have to purchase the ingredients not once but twice. Takes a little bit of doing, guys, but I think we are just about ready with the last bit of this dulce de leche, and I think that is looking fantastic. The one thing that I would add to this right now, and I highly recommend it, is keeping around some sticks of cinnamon so that you can scratch a little bit of fresh cinnamon. You've seen us do this in other recipes before. I'm gonna scratch a little fresh cinnamon on top of that, and that's gonna add a little pop of flavor. Just like that. Looks pretty good. All right, let's turn our corn one more time. Those are heating up. We got a little bit of exposure and a little charring on one of them. I love that. That's fantastic. All right, guys, let's set the pie on the heat just to warm it up a little bit. It does not need to be cooked. And go ahead and cut into one of these Philadelphia cheesesteaks. Look at this cheesesteak everywhere. That's not going to waste. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, that's a lot of meat. That's a good looking cheesesteak right there. In fact, I think I probably should take a bite of that right now. It's asking for it. All right. It's good. It's simple. The onions still have crunch to them, which I like. They're grilled. You can still taste beef. I mean, this is basically beef with cheese and onions. So simple, so delicious. I love it. All right. All right, guys, I have tasted this. Yes, it tastes good. Let's go ahead and plate up this meal so we all can eat, all right? It's gonna go like this. We're gonna have our cheesesteak. That is sloppy goodness. Let's grab an ear of corn. And what I'm gonna have to do is, of course, you know, I've got the hull on it, so I'm gonna have to carefully go ahead. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw it right on there. Look at that, that looks gorgeous, just like that. Look at that. Why not serve that up to your guests just like that? It looks fantastic. Let it cool. Of course, they're gonna have to peel it off. You might wanna have a solution for that. But we also have dessert, guys. Let's go ahead and put on a slice of our dulce de leche apple pie that we just kind of made right out in the middle of nowhere. This is gonna be sloppy goodness. And I think with a graham cracker crust, and one thing I think it does need is just a little more hit, just one more hit of the cinnamon. Just like that. Just on top. Looks great. Okay, guys, we've plated up our classic Philadelphia cheesesteak, and now I've got a little treat for you. We are gonna pair this with what has become one of my favorite beers. This is Gerst's Amber Ale from Yazoo, which is right down the road to the tune of, 4 or 5 hours, but in Nashville, Tennessee. And Gerst Amber Ale is one of my favorites. It's really clean. It's got a little bit of flavor to it, but it finishes almost like a pale ale. It's so clean. So let's go ahead and pop the top on this, if I can get the top popped, and try that. And again, this is an amber, so there's a little bit of toast on the grain. We want something that's going to stand up to the Philadelphia cheesesteak. That is red meat. At the same time, we've got a very simple sandwich. We want a simple, clean beer, and I think this Gerst Amber Ale absolutely does the trick. So we've got that ready, and we're good to go.
Yeah, we tested it last night, and I think what impressed me most was how clean the finish was.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
As clean as a lager.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to get to it. That's going to do it for this episode of Total Tailgating at NTP. Check us out on our Patreon page. Check us out on Facebook. And do visit the website, www.nfl-tailgate-party.com. All right, we'll see you guys.